Okay, in this morning's edition of Drive to Work video, or Drive to Work radio, Drive to Work video, I want to, my last video was on intuitive living and, signs, omens, dreams, visions, and, using such tools as tarot cards and zodiac and astrology, just kind of basically touching on that. And I want to continue that theme of intuitive living because that's really what it's all about. When you're studying metaphysics and practicing metaphysics, mental magic, mental physics, I call it. Metaphysics starts in the mind and it becomes physically manifested or real. Mental physics. And the practice is not done at altars or in churches or temples or pagan groves. They can be. But the practice is in the mind. Because everything is mental. All is mind, the Kybalion says. And that is true. As I'm fond of saying, there is only one law. Only truly one law. One law of nature. One law, period. And that is consciousness. As Neville Goddard said, there is nothing but God. And God is your own wonderful human imagination. In a few places and times, he would say, your own consciousness. God is consciousness. It's not a deity to be worshipped or an entity or personality to serve or obey. It is you. It is I. It is consciousness, period. It is your third eye. Well, in this one I want to cover, once again, intuitive living and listening to your intuition. And like I said in that video, and I have said for quite a while now, that intuition comes in different forms. That intuitive insight, that intuitive inspiration, that intuitive drive. And it's different ways that higher mind is talking to what we would call the lower mind, or your human ego mind, which is a tool that you use. It's your virtual reality headset. Your human mind, if you will, your human character that you're playing, and its five senses, sight, touch, smell, taste, hearing, are your virtual reality headset to live in this seemingly physical, seemingly real, seemingly objective mental matrix, this lucid dream that God is having, as Neville would describe it, which is a great way of describing it. God is lucid dreaming. The one mind, that is. That's what God is. The one universal consciousness. Some people call it the universe. When they're talking about the universe from a metaphysical perspective, they're not talking about the physical, the cosmos with the different solar systems and stars and galaxies and Milky Ways and things like that. They're talking about mind, consciousness. Other people call it God. The Kybalion and the Hermetic mystics call it the all. It is all one thing. It is all one mind. So when you begin to understand that and begin to awaken to that, become illuminated and become a member of the Illuminati, when you become Luciferic and you are the light bringer, the light bearer, you begin to awaken to yourself. You become the Christ. You become the Christed mind, the anointed or awakened mind. Or you are Neo in the Matrix and you awaken in the Matrix. You awaken, if you know what a lucid dream is, it's where it's a hypnagogic state, like hypnosis. It's a hypnagogic state where you're basically what mystics would call between two worlds. You're between the seemingly real objective world and the seemingly spiritual world. And you awaken in the dream, in a lucid dream, and you realize you're dreaming. You're laying there sleeping and you're lucid dreaming and you're kind of in between two states there. You're aware that you're sleeping and you're dreaming. And so you awaken in the dream and you realize you can kind of change things or, gently manipulate things the way you want them to be, redirect your way you're looking at things in the dream, which is your state, and you get get different outcomes inside your lucid dream. So we're lucid dreaming. We're nothing but the one mind, the one spirit, lucid dreaming. And it's lucid dreaming through all the different characters, all the different humans. Here we have free will, but that free will is only to choose how we're going to look at things, how we're going to see things. A great example is, you have the three main areas of life that manifesting YouTubers and people talk about manifesting and things like that talk about. The three main areas is love, romance or love, relationships, not just marital or romantic, but relationships with your neighbor, your co-worker, whatever, a relative, whatever. It's your relationships or love. You have money or finances and material wealth, which material wealth is also not just money, of course, and health, of course, your bodily health. And it could be that you're healthy, you just want to gain some more muscle, you want to lose weight, or you want to change the appearance of some part of yourself or something like that. Now, desire, as I said in my previous video and I've said before, desire is a form of intuition, an intuitive drive, and it is, as Neville Goddard explained, it is a form of prophecy. Again, as I said in that previous video, prophecy does not mean something is locked in, it's just going to happen, period. Okay, it's just telling you where you're at, the direction you're heading. That's what tarot cards are for. It just tells you the direction you're heading now. Mentally, the momentum, the karma, because karma means momentum. It doesn't mean something that people have turned it into. It just simply means momentum. If you want to change your karma, simply change the state that you're thinking from, and your momentum will change. In this seemingly real world where we have time, things may take a little bit of seemingly take time to change, and people will talk about, well, I have changed the way I see my finances. I see myself well, but my bank account, see myself financially okay, or well, but my bank account isn't showing it, or the doctor's report or whatever isn't showing it, or my, the person I want to have a better relationship or have a relationship with, it hasn't happened yet, etc., etc. That's because of momentum in this world, this slowed down, crystallized thought of a world, because all of physical matter, quantum scientists are so perplexed, they're finding things out more and more, but they're also perplexed because they're finding that at the quantum level, physical matter is conscious. It has a form of consciousness and a purpose to it, and it doesn't operate like just a straight up machine or mechanism. Okay, the double slit experiment is a great one to point that out. If you don't know what that is, you can Google or YouTube double slit experiment. So anyhow, desire, as I like to say, desire is divine. It is your higher mind telling you what you will have or experience if you accept it to be fact, to be true now, and allow it to happen. Desire is your intuition. Neville said that does a man tell you his desires, or tell him his desires, and he can tell him his future. And what he meant was, if that man accepted that desire as soon as it came upon him as a fact, that it is true, and began to see the world from the fact that it's already true, even though his bank account, he has a desire to have more money, or a desire that a bill's paid, or a desire to feel financially comfortable, or a desire to be healthy when he's presently ill or sick, or desires to be happily married, or whatever it is, have the new home he needs, better job, the puppy dog or the bicycle a kid wants. It's the same thing. Adults and children, we all have done it, been doing it all of our life. Manifesting is just as natural as breathing. Okay, that's why some people come up with breathing techniques, right? But we still just breathe. We breathe just fine. Well, same thing with manifesting. Manifesting is just as natural as breathing. Now, desire, I'm going to say it again, desire is divine. It is your higher mind telling you what you will have or will experience if you will accept that desire to be a fact now and allow it to happen. The acceptance of the fact, Neville talked about the feeling it real, and feeling is a secret. And then he explained, feeling is the feeling of acceptance that it's a done deal. In other words, the feeling of relief, the feeling of that it's done, because everything we do and everything we want is because of the feeling That's what it's about. The feeling in mind. The feeling. You know, when you eat food or have sex, you think it's for the physical feelings, but it's more than that. You want a really comfortable chair to buy for your living room to sit in. It is not just the physical feeling, it is the mental feeling. All is mind. Everything you do is actually just in mind. It's that feeling, not the feeling of emotion, not the physical feelings in your body from eating good food, having great sex, or sitting in a comfortable chair. We're talking about the feeling of relief and acceptance to the point. This is why Neville taught when you imagine a thing done and you accept it done, he says, in the end, think from the end state like it's already a done deal, like you've already had that money for quite a while. All right? The feeling that you've already had the wonderful sex, not that you're having it, the feeling that you have already eaten a great meal. What is that feeling? Now it's mental. It's a satisfaction in mind. And it's normalized. It becomes normalized. It's not exciting. Oh, I just won the lottery. It's like, yeah, I won the lottery a few months ago, or a year ago, and it's more of a normalized feeling now. All right, when you want that new car, or that new relationship, that new house, that better job, that bill paid, when you want that done and it's already done, now it's a feeling of satisfaction. You've already been through the initial excitement and all that. It's the feeling that it's done. So that's what you're looking for in everything. Now, desire, when you have a desire, the human brain, the human ego, because of what it's designed to do, this is the fallen nature of man, the fallen Lucifer, the fallen angel, the fall of man. This is God who has given himself or itself amnesia, if you will. It forgets that it's perfect. That's why they think that you got to work out karma, you got to go through your trauma, you got to regulate your nervous system, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to go through some journey to learn, so you learn to do better, so you can get that thing you want to manifest, etc., etc., etc. When you are perfect already, there's nothing wrong with you. And you're new in every moment because there is only the eternal now, meaning there is no past or present except for in mind. You're thinking about the past. They talk about, you've heard the saying, depression is something like, it's, living in the past. Anxiety is living in the future. Well, that's true. Now, I mean, you can think in your past of good things or think in the future of good things, but there is only now. Like I'm always saying in my videos and in conversation, if you could do a time machine, you found a time machine and you could go to the past, your personal past, or 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago, there's only that now, that moment of now. If you could go to the future, a day tomorrow, or you could go 1,000 years from now, there's only that now. There's only the eternal now. In this seemingly objective world, which is really not the objective world, this is the subjective world. It is subjective to the only true objective, an objective fact, and that is consciousness. In this seemingly objective world, things are crystallized, as Neville and others described it. It's like consciousness is crystallized. That's what material matter is. It's slowed down. The vibration is denser. There is time. There is length with depth. There is time. We experience things in blocks of time, if you will, but it's always just now. So if you will accept a desire as it's already now, just feel the feeling, as Neville would say, and that's the secret. The feeling is the secret, Neville Goddard would say, and feel the feeling, as he would say. And as he described, the feeling was a feeling of acceptance. Now, he would talk about doing imagining techniques to teach you how to do this consciously, when we all have been manifesting naturally anyway, but how to do it more consciously or on purpose and with intent and direction and focus in life, what we really want. He would talk about feeling the acceptance that it's done, and he said he wasn't talking about feeling as in emotion or... Now, when he tells these techniques, he would talk about, you want a new chair, feel yourself sitting in that chair, or you want a sea cruise, feel the blast of the water on your face and, from the mists from the ocean, or you want to feel the money in your hand someone's handing you and you want to feel it in your fingers. and he would talk about making that feeling visceral, he was just trying to give you an example of the relief you feel, not the physical. He would say, maybe smell the smells or hear the sounds you would hear in imagination. What he was trying to teach people to do was the acceptance feeling, not the actual feeling or hearing or whatever. He was teaching using these imaginative techniques, and he taught the state akin to sleep, a hypnagogic state, form of manifesting so-called technique, or a prayer, if you will, because that's all those things are, a ritual, if you will, like a magic ritual, a pagan ritual, or religious ritual. It's just these techniques that he would teach to help you feel like something is so real that what happens? You become to accept that it's a done deal. It feels so real that now you accepted it. So when you would do Neville Goddard's imagining technique, state akin to sleep, or his hearing method, or the other little techniques he would come up with, people think that the power, well, some people make the mistake that the power is in the technique itself. And it's not. The power is in mind. It's simply the acceptance. Now you see the world from that state. Neville would say, how would you see the world if your wish was fulfilled? If your desire was already physical fact, and it had been for a while now, you would feel fulfillment. You would feel relief, like having a sexual orgasm. And he used that example in one of his books. And in magic, when they're teaching about, and in mystery schools are teaching about manifestation, sometimes they use the analogy of sexual gratification, whereas you're not in the act of having sex, you are actually already satisfied. It's a feeling. You've eaten the meal and you now feel full and satisfied, and now you're thinking about how good everything tasted and how full you feel and how satisfied, and everything smelled so good and tasted so great, and the food texture was great in your mouth, and you love how it looked on the plate. All of these form of things, all these type of things, it's the acceptance that you're after. You're after the mental feeling of having or experiencing those things. That satisfaction. So when we desire something, it's like horniness. It's like when I desire my wife. When you desire someone sexually, it's a desire, okay? It's a hunger. So when you go and you fulfill that in mind or in imagination, in consciousness, and you now have fulfilled it by getting into the state that it's already a done deal, and you see the world as you already have that bill paid, you already have the money you want, you have the good health, you have you've lost the weight or gained the weight or gained the muscle that you want, you've got the things you want, you feel the satisfaction. Then you come back to this reality, because we vacillate between I'm going to say our spiritual mind and our carnal mind, our physical mind. Carnal is a theological biblical term for your physical brain or your human ego, right? And there's nothing wrong with your human ego. There's nothing wrong with your human ego. Your human ego is a tool to experience this world. Just like Carl Jung talked about, the true father of modern psychology, in my opinion, not Sigmund Freud. He talked about, and he's the one that gave us the term synchronicity, by the way. He understood a metaphysical reality. He understood that metaphysics had something to do with our psychology. But anyhow, I don't want to get off on that. But what was I going to say? Carl Jung, I'll come back to that in a minute. I'll think about it here in a second. But my point being is, when you accept that a thing is done and you see it from a state of fulfillment, okay, that's the acceptance part I'm talking about when I say desire is divine. It is your higher mind telling you what you can have or experience if you will accept it. Just accept it. Start seeing the world from that point of view. Just feel that relief now. Have that mental orgasm now. That's what Neville talked about when he said you do his techniques, and he would say, that's a relief. It's a feeling of relief, feeling that you already have it. It's not the visceral feeling itself, or feeling it physically, or living in a fantasy or something like that. It's actually just a feeling of satisfaction. Now, when all I was going to say about Carl Jung is your ego, is he talked about your shadows, the dark sides of you. Well, in mysticism and magic, they teach you alchemize your human character, your human ego. That's what it is. Your VR headset to experience this matrix here this seemingly physical matrix, to live in this lucid dream as this character, it's going to have its good traits and it's going to have its bad traits. The idea as to what they talk about in mysticism, or Hermetic mysticism, is to alchemize. You don't suppress your shadows, your dark sides, and your little what we think is flaws, our so-called demons. You alchemize that mental energy. It's there to add spice to who you are. You alchemize it into a healthy way, and to use that and to play your human character out, as opposed to people thinking, well, we gotta let the human ego die, and you're not really your character. You are. You are as much your character as you are if you're playing a Shakespeare play and you were playing Hamlet or some character, whatever, in a TV show, if you're an actor or a movie, or if you're playing a character in a video game. You're just as much as that character as you are your true consciousness, your eternal spirit, your soul, your consciousness, your wavelength of consciousness that you are. That character is your character. It's not who you are in your essence. In your essence, you're just pure consciousness. You're God acting as, the human character that you are. So it is your character. And you use that character in its combination of its personality, what makes up its personality, and you use that to your advantage. So you don't suppress anything that's dark about you, so-called dark or bad about yourself or whatever. Instead, you alchemize it and use that energy like a spice. Too much spice can ruin a dish you're cooking, right? So anyhow, you enjoy your human character, and you enjoy the fact that you have desires, because desires is, something more exciting. What is this? So you desire a new home or a better job. That's expansion. That's experience. And that's all consciousness. Consciousness is perfect. It is God, if you will. It is holy. It is perfect. It doesn't need to be fixed. It doesn't need its trauma fixed or its flaws. No, consciousness creates this character that we're born as in this human life, and it comes with its own particular looks and its basic background that you didn't get to choose, like who you were born to and where you were born, and what your body looks like as you're born, blah, 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 your race, etc., your gender, etc., etc. And what you do is you alchemize that. We're here at work today. All right. Of course, I'm here early. I like to get to work early. So we continue this one-sided conversation or monologue. So what you want to do is you accept your desires. It's you're telling you your future. So if you desire a new home or a better home, or you desire a better job or better relationship or better health or what have you, be excited. Or if you're wanting to experience, I don't know, a concert that normally you can't get tickets for, or whatever it is, some museum you want to go to or something. You desire it, and you don't know how to do it, you don't have the physical resources right now to do it, then that's where the magic comes in, and that's what shows you that you really are consciousness. I like to say this in videos, because to me, the one thing that proves that we are consciousness, as far as, just scientifically, if you will, is people's out-of-body experiences. People have had near-death experiences where they go out of their body, or people who purposely go out of their body. And it has been documented, even the Pentagon has documented this, scientists have documented this, including nuclear physicists like Tom Campbell and the Italian physicist Fagan, I believe is how you say his name. They're on YouTube. Tom Campbell wrote the book, My Theory of Everything, or My Big Toe is the acronym. These are scientists. These are nuclear, quantum scientists, quantum physicists. And they discovered that, out of body, that they are consciousness, and that matter is actually consciousness crystallized. And people go out of their body, and they hear things, know things, see things from way away from where their physical body and brain is. That proves to me you're nothing but consciousness. So to me, anybody that believes, I've never been an atheist. I was a Christian for 38 years of my life, but I never was an atheist. I'm not a Christian anymore. I don't see the Bible as literal anymore. I don't see Jesus Christ or the Bible God or the Bible devil, for that matter, as literal. But anywho, I see it as just another mystical book with, metaphors and mystical and metaphysical metaphors, along with a bunch of other crap other people added in, and that the characters in there are nothing but archetypes or states of mind, states of characters Neville Goddard taught. But you begin to, what I was going to say is I don't understand how anybody can be an atheist. Even when I was a kid, I didn't understand how anybody be an atheist because there's an obvious design to everything. So desire is showing you that there's a design to your life. A lot of people come to manifestation and manifesting and metaphysics, and they get drawn to it. Even young folks get drawn to it. Teenagers and young adults get drawn to it because once the basics of it explained to them, they're like, yeah, I can see that in my life. Well, when you get older, like me, when I was older, I didn't come to this, start really looking into this to my late 40s, is I began to look back at my life and I could see there was a design. It's like the poem Footprints in the Sand. You don't have to be a Christian to like that poem, and I think that's an inspired poem. Man was inspired. His higher self inspired that poem, Footprints in the Sand. If you don't know it, you can Google it. It's just one-page poem. But it's about a man walking on a beach with Jesus, the coast of life, and he says as he looks back on his life and the footprints in the sand, and he sees where him and Jesus are walking to. There's two sets of footprints. And then he said, but then all of a sudden he became upset and he said, Jesus, I noticed something. There's a problem here. There's only one, every time in my hardest, darkest times of my life, there's only one set of footprints. And Jesus looks at him and says, you dumb son of a bitch. No. Says, well, that's the times that I carried you. And I can see that in my life. It wasn't a literal Jesus or a literal God. It's higher mind inspiration. When you hit the rock bottom, and I've hit rock bottom or hit the bottom of many a times in my life, they always say there's no place to go but up. Well, there is. You can stay down there in the bottom, right, through negative thinking. But what happens with rock bottom is it helps you to run out that karma, that negative thinking. That's all karma is that momentum, that mental momentum. And you just finally say, fuck it, and I even got a tattoo that says, the words are fuck it on it. It's just, my attitude. Sometimes I'm like, fuck it, I don't give a shit about this. And other times it's like, fuck it, I don't know what else to do, right? So I got a tattoo that says fuck it. And so anyhow, it's when you give up and stop struggling. Well, when it comes to your desires and things you want to manifest, and you just don't know how to do it and you can't do it, because if you could, you would just do it. It's like, if you're hungry for a sandwich and you don't have stuff in your house, but you got money in a way, you would either walk or ride your bicycle or the train or the bus or drive yourself down to the local store and get you some sandwich making materials, right? And go home, make you a sandwich. It's for those things in life that you can't do or don't know how to do. It's like getting tickets for some production, play, or concert that are sold out. It's like finding this rare bicycle that you're just looking. You collect bicycles and you're looking. It's manifesting things. The doctor says you have stage 4 cancer. You manifest health, or you can manifest health for other people. You manifest good things for other people simply because you're the only one in your world, and so you get to choose the identity, who you are, the state of mind, and how you see that person. You see that person as well or doing good or whatever. That's what happens. You will experience that because you've chosen who you are. It's not about manifesting things or making other people do things, and witchcraft, making other people. You always do it on yourself. The outer world, as Neville said, everyone is you pushed out, and the whole wide world is you pushed out. We are all individual sovereign nodes of the one God. Yes, you can say our realities overlap and things like that, but we cannot control another person's reality. We can only control our own. So when you want to manifest something so-called for someone else, the seeming other, as Neville called it, you're actually manifesting it for yourself because you want to manifest and see them from the state, because everything's about states, the state that they have, the thing that you would like to see, the better health or whatever that they need, right? So, and again, there is nothing but consciousness. And within that consciousness is states or perceptions. And within each state contains the perception of the world. You can see it from a state of having money, or just a little bit of money, or just enough money, or a whole abundance of money. However you see the world. You can do that with everything, love, health, and everything. And you choose the state that you see the world from. It contains the state, okay, that you see the world from. They talk about, you don't like what you see in life. Change how you're looking at it, change where you're standing. If you can't see because there's a tree or a wall in the way and you move over a little bit, now you can see through the window or the door or around the wall, or you can see around the tree. That's life. Very first conversation I had with my wife, we were talking, and we were just talking. I didn't know I was going to end up falling in love with this woman and being with her, but been with her for 9 years now. But was about perception. Mito's talking about, because I was learning about manifestation, metaphysics, and I was learning about perception. It's not about positive thinking and toxic positivity. It's about simply surrendering. So as far as living intuitively and desire goes, desire is telling you what you can have if you will just accept that it's already, just feel the relief already, okay? And just allow it. And the way you allow it is following your intuition and following your feel. You don't have to think anything out. Don't try to figure anything out or force anything out. Just follow. And that's how you find that life is magical. Like I said, some people find life is magical when they have an out-of-body experience, I've never had one, but it can make you, but I've had other experiences in my life that have shown me that life is, this so-called physical objective reality is not objective. It is not real. It is not the true world. It is an illusion, but it's not to deceive you. It's to have fun. That's why the Kybalion calls this the game of life. All right, I'm going to end this video here. If I want to add any more, I will later. All right, I'm on a break time here, and I just want to remind you that desire is divine. It's your higher mind telling you what you can have or experience if you will accept it to be true. Feel the feeling that it's already done deal. Just accept it's done. And allow it to happen. Now, intuitive living, it's about allowing things to happen and not trying to figure anything out. So if you have a desire, it's telling you what you can have, right? Well, then the ego or the lower mind or the human mind wants to try to take over and say, how do I get this? Or it's impossible, I can't get it. Or you get frustrated and you finally just give up because it's never manifested, never shown up. So you just give up. Well, that's not how that works. Sorry. You can't give up on a desire. You can repress it. You can accept lesser than it. You can settle, but you'll never be satisfied. You'll never have that satisfied feeling. So the idea of desire is to get you to, it's a way, it's like the carrot before the mule or whatever pulling the plow, is to try to encourage you to reach further, to want to, not to just stay in the safe zone, but to really expand yourself, therefore experience yourself through the character that you're playing and the character's desires and its unique personality. Your human character that you're playing in this video game we call Human Earth Life. So desire is something that you can't get rid of it. You can repress it or try to push it down, but it's kind of like pushing down feelings like anger or resentment or sadness or whatever. It will show up in your human body, and the reason it shows up in your human body, because this human life and your body, everything is just a mirror of what's going on in your consciousness to let you know what's going on with you and your character development. We talk about TV shows and movies and books, novels. We talk about character development, where the character grows through the story, right? Well, that's the same thing here. And you want to expand it through experience. That's all there is experience. And the universe is all-knowing and all-powerful, like they talk about God. Well, it can't experience anything if it doesn't give itself some sort of character to play. And that's why, you can play these video games and you can experience the idea of driving a fast car, war or whatever, But the idea is you're experiencing that world, that fantasy world. This is a fantasy world for the universe to play, this human matrix, this mental mind game. It's not a mind fuck, it's a mind game. So desire is just there. It won't go away. Desire is different from lust or greed or anxious wanting, or thinking you have to have something. I won't be happy if I don't have this thing, or you just think you're supposed to have things or want things that society or tell you, but it's not true desire. True desire is, this is why it's important finding the true you. Finding the true character that you can play, the human character you can play. You're going to find that your life becomes actually more relaxed, more in flow, as they talk about in Hermetic mysticism, the state of flow, where things just kind of flow easily. Athletes know it as the zone. Well, as much as you can, you want to go into that zone state. You're going to come in and out. You're in and out. Because we are between two worlds. There's a human side of you, the human ego mind of you, and your true self, your true awareness self. Your awareness self is that third eye, that one Illuminati eye that's watching what your human self is thinking and accepting. right? So all you have to do is say, no, I'm going to start thinking from the state of healthiness or wealthy or happy or whatever situation. I have that new vehicle I want, a new car or whatever. I've experienced that concert I wanted to go to. These things that you want to manifest, you focus on that. And it is a form of discipline or a form of focused thinking. It's not forcing your thinking. It's not positive thinking and all that bullshit. It is absolutely just saying, I'm just going to accept the feeling of it anyway. Just accept the feeling that the thing you want is a done deal. Let me go back to the fact that desire is not something you can shake. So it's just there. And that's how you know it's not your physical ego self just saying, well, I want this because society says I'm supposed to have this, or I think I'll be loved or happy if I have this. It is true intent desire. And when you discover a true desire, it's just so peaceful, actually. It's when we start trying to figure it out, or we start feeling like a sense of lack of it. Well, I'm not going to be happy until I get it, or how am I going to get it, or I just can't have that, or whatever. Wow, that would be a miracle if I could have that. Actually, if you desire it, it's yours. Because everything, as the Kybalion teaches, everything is one thing. Like the example of temperature. I use in videos where there's hot and cold. The one thing is it's temperature, right? Close, near. Well, the one thing is distance. Okay, light, dark, love, hate, they're all one thing. It's just the degrees of the same thing. If you desire a thing, that's a degree. Okay, a want a thing or desire a thing, it is a degree of the thing itself. So you can't. That's why people say in their videos and in their books and stuff on manifesting and metaphysics and stuff, is you can't. It's impossible to truly deeply desire something. Happy marriage, good health. A red sports car. It's hard to really, truly, deeply desire something without it. Also, the fact that you can have it, the fulfillment is also there because it's on the same graph. It's on the same stick. It's the one thing. So the middle of that stick is having that thing. So go ahead and go to the middle and go from desire or not having it to fulfillment. And in the middle is that balance. Like, yeah, I've had it for a while now. It's not new. Yeah, when you first get something or experience something and fall in love or get that new vehicle or new job you want or whatever, or your health tests come back from the doctor and you're great, you're healthy, whatever, or you've lost the weight you've been wanting to lose, you've been having a hard time losing, you just want to manifest it, whatever it is, you're gonna have that initial excitement. That's great. That's awesome. But after you've had it for a while, as Neville said, you live in the end. Live in the end of things that already happened. It's just normalized. You just normalize. That's the middle. Okay, it's not the extremes of the polarity. It's the middle. And you have the correspondence, you have desire, and then you have the correspondence of fulfillment. But if you turn desire into lack and you start lacking something, oh, I don't have it, you're looking at it wrong. You should look at it as you already have it. Accept it. So that's why Neville taught when you have a desire, when it comes upon you, go ahead and accept the acceptance that you have the feeling that it's already done. I heard a recording of a guy one time talking about it. He got so good at manifesting, it was kind of frustrating to him at first because he said things just came so quickly. It's because he didn't have, quote, resistance, or he accepted it as a fact when he desired something, and then he just allowed it to happen, the events to work out, and he lived a human life, and you have this so-called, what Neville would call bridges of incident. You have the story to tell of how the thing manifested, whether it was something manifested almost quickly or it took a few years, depending on what it is, right? You'll have a story to tell. You'll have a human story, and you'll have what's called a human journey, right? It'll seem like time went by, and it'll seem like you went through events or seemingly over bridges or a bridge of incident or incidents, and things will happen, and it'll just be cool. It'll just be awesome. I talked to the guy that was he was doing the maintenance on this loader this morning, and he talked about how it was interesting how, and he gave me a gift, a really nice gift. But he said it was just really neat how the universe or the cosmos works things out, and things just work out. And because he was wanting this thing to give me that he knew he had in storage, and he asked his wife, and they found it, and because he knew he was coming here to service this loader, right? So things work out. It's really cool, and it's something that I always thought, I just never thought I would get. And it's an Acheron, the heavy metal death metal band, the true satanic band Acheron. And he gave me an LP record still in the package and everything. I just threw my coffee cup around. But it was pretty neat. And it was just something that I thought would be cool to have, something like that. And it was a while back, and I thought, man, it'd be cool to have one of those, something like that. I don't have a record player, but just need to have one of those records. It was that. But anyhow, when you desire something, just accept as a fact. Don't try to figure out where it's going to come from or how it's going to happen or anything like that. And it's when you just start allowing things. So that's living intuitively, not trying to figure things out, not trying to fight it out. Just when you have a desire, accept that desire. As Neville said, he would quote the Bible verse where it says, "Today is the day of salvation." And he used the Bible as a mystical book, not a literal book. And he said, that means as soon as the desire comes upon you, accept it. Just accept it. Don't even figure out how. Just accept the feeling that it's a done deal. Not accepting the desire. Now go to the other end of the polarity and accept the fulfillment of it. And say, yeah, I got it. And then in the middle of that, of the polarity of desire and fulfillment, is now you're just living your life. It's as if you already had it. And you're not in lack. You're not trying to figure it out. You're not even trying to figure out how to find it or nothing. And you just live your life. Now, let's say that you're wanting a new job and you're looking for a job, or a particular car you're looking for and you're looking for it. As long as you're having fun look, be yourself. That doesn't mean to sit there and do nothing. If you feel you want to do something, do it. But even in your doing, that may not be how you actually get it, but maybe just having the fun of looking, right? All right. It's break time's almost over. About time to get back to work. And I got a lot to do today. So, hope you enjoyed this video. And my next video that I'm thinking in my head, I don't know when I may record it this evening, I may record it tomorrow, I may record it next week. I don't know. But my next one, I'm very excited about my next video. Have a great time living your life.